energy is very, very intense right now. And if you're watching this, probably you're feeling very, very intense, very, very heavy, and maybe very, very depressed. If so, you're in the right place. This is a little different actually from my normal videos, but I find it super necessary for my audience. I know basically everyone I'm aware of in my audience suffers from anxiety or depression on some level or has at some point. So though I typically like to live in the higher realms and the spiritual realms and talk about like cool esoteric shit, sometimes we gotta get real and sometimes we gotta talk about stuff like severe depression and how to cope with it. But first, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah and I help people to own their powers and step into the driver's seat of their own lives. And today we're gonna be doing that by helping you to combat severe depression, which I know from personal experience can be very, very challenging and very, very debilitating. And if you happen to have caught my video from last week, which I will link up here, about the recent trigger with my twin flame, I have really been struggling lately. That's why I felt inspired to make this video. Not only do I have this trigger with my twin flame right now, but I have been super struggling with money and my business. My dog is like dying. I have all this like personal like family drama going on. I'm like losing friends. I'm moving across continents. I just have like on every angle of my life right now some sort of strong pressure and trigger. And as a result, it's kind of like awoken my severe depression and my symptoms. But I can tell you, having had depression like my entire life, basically, I've had it at least since I was 8 years old, if not younger than that. I kind of have a distance from it this time, almost like a higher perspective, where I'm able to keep doing and not doing what I set out to do and not totally like fall off the rails, totally fall off the pit into the depression, into the depression mire, shall we call it. And what I have learned over the years is that discipline and routine are so important. They are so foundational to not only like living with and coping with depression and severe depression, but to actually learning to integrate and like thrive with it. It doesn't have to be the enemy. It doesn't have to hold you back. It doesn't have to be a handicap or a weakness. You can actually work with it. But it's very, very important not to listen to the sweet murmurings of the depression. And I'm just getting right now the image of like Big Mouth and like the depression kitty, if you've seen that. It's like, yeah, depression kind of is like, yeah, come with me, just sleep here, sleep all your pains away, right? And it's so easy to do that when you're depressed. But I've learned that it takes a lot of personal willpower. Sometimes you just gotta be like, no, not today, depression. I'm not gonna sleep away my pain. I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna like keep doing the things that have got me to this point. But anyways, as usual, I'm getting really rambly. I could just go on and on and on about this topic for an age. I'm not going to. The final anecdote I'm going to say before I get into specifically like what you can do, what I do to deal with this severe depression is I will say like a few years ago, I was working with a therapist and I was actually feeling pretty good. I was pretty impressed with myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. And he gave me like this survey to take, like this depression survey or whatever. And the results of the survey were that I was moderately depressed. And I just think that's so like funny, I guess in a dark way, because I'm like, wow, me on a good day is moderately depressed. That says something. So I guess I'm severely depressed when I actually do acknowledge that I'm depressed. So that was actually a big wake up call for me in recognizing just how serious depression has been like in my life. And for those of us on the spiritual path, like I said, it's so common, which is why I feel called to make this video. I hope it helps someone. So now I'm going to tell you exactly what I do and have been doing like right now in my daily routine to kind of stay grounded, to stay focused, even when I have like this severe depression just trying to pull me down every single day. And I just want to say too, caveat, take what you will. See this as a sort of buffet. You can take what sounds good to you and give that a try and see if you like it and you want to get more of that and try more of that. But really, like, everything that is working for me, it's not all going to work for you. We're all unique individuals. Like, we all are going to have unique routines and schedules that are going to work specifically for us and for no one else. However, I'm sure like many of the things that I'm doing or have done could actually help you too, which is why I'm going to share it. It's taken me many, many years to kind of like figure out what works for me and to develop like this routine. So I'm quite proud of it. But of course, even after my prideful development of this routine, I'm still always changing it and switching things in and out, and I'm open to being adaptable. So I want you to kind of take the same approach where it's like discipline to a degree, yes, but also being open and flexible with yourself. That's key to self-love, which is key to overcoming severe depression. That being said, here we go. I'm going to tell you step by step what I do on a daily basis to cope with my severe depression. So, first thing I do when I get up is I make myself some ceremonial cacao. I highly recommend trying that if you have never worked with it and you're just a depressed person or like a spiritual person. This stuff is so magical. Let me tell you, another psychic recommended it to me and it has totally transformed my life. So cacao literally, like, it starts opening up your heart chakra and it can help you purge all the grief in there that's like keeping you depressed. So it's perfect for this. And it also makes an amazing coffee substitute. So I myself used to like be like the coffee addict type person. I needed that boost because I am just not a morning person. Even when I am not waking up in the morning, I'm waking up in the middle of the day and I've slept like 12 hours. I still hate just waking up. I hate that transition. I need some sort of stimulus. Coffee, though, would always just be too much of a stimulus on my system. It would really just cause me to get really like jittery and just get sick to my stomach, and it was just not good for me. Cacao, on the other hand, has been so gentle and kind on my system. It's perfect. And as the name implies, it's also like ceremonial cacao can be used for ceremony, which is what I also do. So step 2 of this routine is not only do I make this cacao, I do a sort of like law of attraction manifestation ritual with it. So I sit with my cacao in my hands and I start to vision my life. Like my dream life. What do I want it to look like? Where do I want to be? How do I want to feel? And I start speaking it into the cacao, because the words we speak, they have energy, a vibration. And when you speak it into like a drink, especially like water or cacao, something like that, it will carry that energy. And then when you drink it, you like integrate that energy into your system. So I literally speak out loud, like this dream life that I want to have. And what's really important is that when you're doing this, you start to feel things. Either one, you want to feel into what it's like to be in that dream life and you want to start to feel really joyful and really free and really like at peace. Or if that's too inaccessible, which is often the case, like when you're severely depressed, you want to cry because you're like, I can tell you, I've had so many days, especially recently after the twin flame trigger, where I'm just like sobbing into my cacao because I'm like, my dream life just feels so far off right now. It feels so impossible and it just makes me cry. That's good too, as long as you're feeling something. That means you're accessing your emotions. That means you're clearing your channel and you're releasing that stuck energy, which is going to help you move through the depression. So that's really, really good if that's the best you can do. That's a great way to start your day, actually, and I highly encourage it. So after I do this, step number 2 is I take a shower. And while I take the shower, I literally imagine that it's not only washing off like the human like 3D grime, but the energy as well. Any like projections anyone's putting on me, any baggage I'm carrying from others, psychic attack, stuff like that. I'm very empathic. So I just imagine all of that stuff is also just washing away and I visualize it. And I also, when I take my showers, I speak affirmations. Again, the words we speak have energy. They have a vibration. When you put them out into reality, it becomes so. When I speak those words to the water that I'm showering in, it washes over me. It washes me in that vibration. So I speak affirmations. And I don't generally like the affirmations like, oh, like I am so rich, I am so abundant, I am in an amazing relationship. Because for me, my logical mind, very overactive. If you did not see the higher self like dragon video, I'd encourage you to check that out. But yeah, I have a very overactive logical mind, and it's like, no, you're not. You're not rich. You're not in a relationship. Like, what are you talking about? And then it just makes me feel terrible about myself. So what I like to do instead is I say, I choose something, because you always have a choice. You can always choose something and reach for something that you're wanting. So I like to do affirmations saying, I choose abundance. I choose myself, instead of like saying that I choose a person or a relationship. I choose myself. That's another one of my favorite affirmations. I choose freedom. That's another one. Just speaking affirmations to yourself, allowing yourself to be cleansed as you do that, and you will feel this energy, I promise. So boom, 3, after I get out of the shower, I actually play generally like a YouTube video or a podcast or something with spiritual teachers, like talking about spiritual things, because spiritual teachers, let me tell you, they have like a higher vibration. And when they're speaking about things like I am doing right now for you, when they're speaking on certain topics, it's gonna lift your vibration just hearing it. Again, I guess the pattern of this video is our words have energy, they have a vibration. So I like to listen to spiritual teachers and just have that kind of like on in the background while I'm doing stuff to pick me up and start to lift my vibration. When you're struggling with depression, it can be really hard for you to pick your own self up out of that energy. It can be near impossible, shall I say, at times. So it can help to it doesn't even have to be someone in your physical reality. If you just have people you look up to, it could be me, it could be Own Your Powers. Like you just play those videos like while you're getting ready, while you're starting your day, and you'll start to kind of absorb their frequency and that energy, and it'll pick you up. Boom. So 4, after that, my schedule, it starts to get a little bit more flexible depending on what's going on. Now, I will say my schedule is not like the average person's schedule. I have the luxury of working for myself at this point, and as such, I kind of have the opposite schedule of the average person. You know, working with clients one-on-one as a life coach and stuff, it tends to be easier to work in the evenings and on weekends and stuff. So I generally have the luxury of plenty of time and many hours before I actually have to go to work to just take my time and do lots of stuff to ground myself and like lift my vibration. You might not have this luxury. That's okay. Even before I was able to do that, I would still have like a mini practice every morning, even if it was just like 15 or 20 minutes, just doing some of these things for a shorter period of time, just doing what you can. And I would still do all the activities I'm going to continue to tell you about, but maybe just not in the same order. Anyways, getting distracted again. Focus, Hannah, focus. So what I do for number 4, it varies. I either get sun by just like sitting outside and like eating my breakfast, if I even eat breakfast. A lot of times I won't eat breakfast because food has a vibration and it can often lower your vibe. And I find a lot of times when I eat something, I want to just take a nap and and that gets me in like the depressive spiral where I just want to sleep forever. So a lot of times I'll just go off of the cacao for like 3 or 4 hours before I eat. But some days I do want to like ground. I do feel like eating, and I will do so outside, so I'm getting some vitamin D if it's even really available. But I will say, even if it's cloudy and it doesn't seem like there's any vitamin D to be had, just getting out there and having the fresh air, you will still be absorbing some vitamin D, and just fresh air in general is going to allow you to connect with nature. So that's recommended. I will also go to the gym, and this is very, very crucial for me, very important. Most days I try to go to the gym, even if it is only for 20 minutes. I try to just do some sort of workout. I don't like cardio so much. I like to do heavy lifting. I like powerlifting. I like to lift heavy shit. But yeah, you can do whatever you like, but I really do feel physical. Everyone can find some physical activity that they enjoy. It doesn't even necessarily have to be at the gym, but just applying this to everyone, physical activity. It's scientifically proven to release endorphins in your brain and help with depression. And on an energetic, spiritual level, it literally can help you clear stuck energy from your body to process it. And that's why I've noticed in the past, when I am not exercising because I have like no time for it, or in periods where I've been like injured and I've been like on bed rest and been not allowed to exercise, I get super, super depressed, super, super fast. So it's just so like crazy how far a little exercise each day can actually go. Final thing I will do, maybe I'll also, like, I'll do all of these 3 things that I mentioned. Maybe I'll only do one. Maybe I'll switch around when I do them. But the final thing I like to do is I take my dogs for a walk. Because hanging out with just animals in general lifts your vibration. It can help you get out of depression. And then combining that with exercise as well, wow, that's a kicker. That'll really, really help lift your vibe. So I love taking my dogs for a walk. When I don't have access to animals or my dogs, I will just take a walk by myself, and just no point or anything, because walking in and of itself can be a sort of meditation, and it can allow you to get out of your head. If you just listen to some music, listen to a podcast, just listen to the sounds of nature and just move your body by walking, you might be surprised at just like how much that can lift your frequency. After this point, usually I go to work. Again, maybe your schedule's different, so you might want to like figure out what the best time frame is for you to do certain things. So now we're going to jump ahead to my nightly routine. So after I've gone to work and then I've kind of like settled in and maybe done some other stuff, done some errands or chores or whatever, I settle in for my nightly routine. And the first thing that I do now that I found is really important, and I still sometimes don't always stick to this, but it's like one fun thing. Even if in my severely depressed state, it isn't fun anymore. One fun thing, one thing that used to be fun for me, I force myself to do it. Because I found, when I'm depressed, like the things that I enjoyed, I don't really want to do it. Like nothing really brings me joy. So I kind of have to just force myself to do it. And I often find that by doing that, it does help me to kind of lift my frequency and get out of my own head and my own like depressive energy. So for me, that fun thing tends to be playing video games for anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour and a half or so. Or watching like some TV shows, some like animes or something like that. Those are generally my 2 go-tos for fun activity. After that, I will do energetic showering if necessary. I don't do another actual shower, but energetic showering. If you've not heard me use this term, I use this term to describe a type of journaling. So when you are really like stressed and you're in your head and you're dealing with all this stuff, again, that's an energy that sticks in your energy field. But when you journal, you take that stuff from your energy field, you transfer it from yourself into the pen and onto the page, and you get it out of your system. So it becomes an energetic shower. So what I do is I will, if I've had like a really rough day and I'm just stressed about a million things, I'll just write it down, and I'll get really pissed off in my journal, get really sad. And this energetic showering is working if, again, you're accessing emotion. If you do start to cry, if you get really pissed off and want to scream into a pillow or something. But yeah, I just like write all the stuff that's stressing me out. I get it out of my system if necessary. Now, these days, it isn't always necessary. When I'm more depressed, it becomes more necessary. So recently, I've been more depressed and more stressed out. I've been doing energetic showering, journaling every single day. When you're feeling a bit better, you don't feel like you have to force this if you're just not feeling it. So after that, I like physically kind of wash myself. I don't take like a full-on shower again, but I'll just like wash my face. That helps me kind of cool down. Again, I imagine like the water is sort of like cleansing the sticky energy from my field. And I will also get valerian tea. Valerian can help you to kind of sleep and to calm down. So I drink valerian tea shortly before I go to bed to just help me calm down and prepare myself for that sleep-like state. After that, the next step, I don't even remember which step we're on here, but the next step after that and the final step before I go to sleep is to meditate. Now, this can take many different forms depending on the day. Right now, I've been like getting this hypnotherapy thing done. So I have like this hypnotherapy recording that I just like listen to, and I meditate to that. And I also, while I'm doing that, I'll run through a gratitude practice where I think of some things that I was grateful for that day. That also helps to lift your vibe. But other times, like the meditation will just be maybe a journey sort of, where I'm journeying with spirit guides, maybe connecting with past lives, something cool like that, or maybe something not flashy at all. Maybe it's like an anapana type meditation where I'm just becoming aware of the air, like moving in and out of my nose, and I'm being very present with my body. But some sort of meditation, I would say anywhere from 5 to like 25 minutes, I will do that right before I go to bed. And it's such a great way to just kind of calm down, to downshift and get away from like blue light and all that sort of stuff. And then I go to sleep. And usually I fall asleep quite quickly and is quite rewarding after that. Maybe like as I'm drifting off to sleep, I'll have a conversation with a spirit guide or my higher self or something like that, which is always fun. And I very much look forward to that part of my day. But that in general is the routine. And I hope that helps some people. Also of note is that that's like the daily like work routine, but when I have time off, generally like at least once a week, I try to organize some fun thing with friends because it's really important to force yourself sometimes to be a little social. Even trust me, I know you don't want to be social when you're severely depressed. That's like the last thing you want to do. You just want to like hermit, but it helps so much, again, to lift you out of that frequency. If you can kind of just force yourself just to hang out with friends. If it seems stressful, maybe even just like say for just a couple hours, like a really like light hangout like that, just to get yourself started and get yourself out of your own energy. So in conclusion, I find that routine helps me to kind of like bookend myself when I'm suffering from depression, and it helps me to really just ground and to just keep going and to keep being productive, keep putting out content and feeling good about it, even though in my real life, my daily life, I'm very much struggling. It's just such a game changer. And I really want to just encourage you out there, if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, anything at all, just feeling the heaviness of these times right now, my heart goes out to you. And I want you to know that it is possible to transcend, these feelings, these emotions, this heaviness. It is possible to live a better life. So keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and remember to be kind kind to yourself. So maybe sometimes I find it's necessary to kind of schedule in time to just brood, or time to just take a nap, or time to just cry my freaking eyes out. So remember, be kind to yourself, be flexible, schedule in that time if you feel it's necessary to feel your feelings, because the last thing we want to do as well is just continue to repress our feelings when we're feeling depressed. That's what started depression in the first place. So you do want to feel your feelings, but you want to do so in a kind and balanced way. Remember, it's all about self-love. And you can and you will love yourself if you're not doing so already. So that being said, friends, I would love to hear in the comments below how you're doing, how this energy is affecting you. And if you have any techniques for kind of dealing with severe depression that you'd like to share with the class, that would be super, super appreciated. As always, me and the dragons would love you forever. If you could like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be updated when I post on my super erratic schedule. And as always, me and the dragons will love you forever. Anyways, and we are sending you much love as we all move through these crazy times and transitions right now. Until next time, my friends, stay powerful.